Communications and public relations have become essential for companies looking to grow their brand, enhance their reputation, and connect with their target audience. This is the Groundbreaker podcast series powered by Tech6 Africa. Today on the show, I'll be speaking to Sheila Waswa, who is the CEO of Chasing Marvick, a company which started out as a public relations and communications and is now branching out to support startups in tech. Look,
Thank you very much.
I know you're a person who wears many hats.
I do.
I don't know which hat you're wearing today. I know you're supporting startups in tech. So, in a few words, tell us what exactly Chasing Mavericks does, the services that you offer.
First of all, thank you very much for having me on this podcast. I was saying earlier, it has become very difficult to put it in one word, right? What we actually do, yes, we started in the PR and communication space, did a lot of events at the time, especially in the tech space. But currently, we've pivoted to specifically blockchain and Web3, the emerging technology ecosystem in Kenya. And we now call ourselves a platform that supports startups in the blockchain space in the Africa tech landscape. And over the 7 years that we've been around, we've been able to serve around, we've been able to do projects in over 7 African markets. So Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, Egypt, amongst others. Yes, so I'd say a platform for now. So PR and communications is just part of it. Yeah.
There's 7 years in the game, but it all starts from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, that's where everybody wants to know. You're like, I want to start something.
Yeah.
But how does the beginning feel like?
Yeah.
Talk to us about it.
I started Chasing Mavericks when I was in my 3rd year, pursuing communication and journalism.
Right.
At the time, I was in Moi University, first of all. So we used to have very long holidays, 6 to 9 months.
I heard about that.
They used to be so long. So you'll do one internship for 3 months and you have a lot of time on your hands. You need to do something. In one of those instances, during my 3rd year, I got an internship in an events organizing company.
Right.
So did the internship for 3 months, and after 3 months, I feel like I was inspired, right? I thought, well, this is a great opportunity to share knowledge. And I think from a very long time, my passion has always been to create platforms where people could gain knowledge. And in my case, I think now that I think about it, then of course I was younger, right? So I could only think of if they gain knowledge, maybe they could improve their lives,
Right.
which is actually true. Right now, what I'm learning is the specific route that is, and for us, the passion is to support startups so that they can grow, they can be sustainable, and they can, by extension, again, improve their lives. So I think at that time, after I did that internship, I went back to school for my 4th year, and I was like, okay, let's start a company that does events. I remember our first event we did in partnership with the Bungoma County government. Just young person, I know. When I think about it right now, I'm like, damn, okay, yeah, that is very much so. Yeah, the devolved government was still very new, and you could hear those rumors about, there's money in the county for gender and for youth. So I went to Bungoma County government. It said, hey, we have this event for youth. I remember we called it Young Professionals Networking Forum.
Right.
And the Bungoma County government sponsored the event, and that's actually now how we started our journey. So it was from there, and then after that, we curate our own events.
Right.
In the space across different tech industries. And I think now finally we found a home in blockchain.
Right.
Yeah.
So the passion to help startup businesses in tech. So how did that start exactly?
Well, I'd say I'm not sure where passion starts from. I don't know where they come
How did
from.
you get it wrong?
I feel like it has been a lot of exposure to a lot of different things, and then finally you can be able to place your hand on something specific and say, this is actually where I want to be. when I think about it, even from the consultancies that we've done in the PR and communication space, most of them happened to be for tech brands, right? So I think it's getting exposed to them, working with them. Then after some time, you realize, oh, all right, there's something here, and there's an opportunity to build bigger, greater things for Africa. And of course, for us, the other thing has always been, how do these tech companies then innovate for real African problems? So I think that's also the other part that has been very exciting.
Okay, so when you decided that you want to help startups in tech, how did you source for now the clientele?
I think most of them have been referrals when I think about it. Of course, there are those ones who will call from the website, from social media, or from seeing your work around. But most of the clients that you've had are actually from referrals. You work with one person, that one person refers you to, another person in that sense.
Yeah. So then, how is it important for you, the PR bit and communications when you're interacting then with new customers?
I think definitely ties in because when you're thinking about your image and what you portray outside there. I'll give you an example. Right now, a lot of the clients that we are getting just after building the brand, of course, there is the personal brand, which is Sheila. And I've been very intentional about building that brand on LinkedIn. And then there's the company brand, which also, that provides the different services. And most of the partnerships that we're getting right now are actually from LinkedIn inboxes. Somebody inboxes you, they've seen the work that you're doing, either through the company profile or just the personal profile itself.
So we need to take it a little more seriously.
Oh, definitely. But I think also the other thing is it depends with which line of business you're in, right? Because if you're doing fashion, for instance, if you're in that space, it will probably make more sense to be on Instagram or on TikTok. So I think depending on the service that you're providing, then you go where most of your target audience is likely to be. Yeah.
So then that's how you manage to get clients. So word of mouth, it's how you work with clients. Then that's the word that gets out there to other people.
Exactly, that's one. So the other thing is, I think thought leadership. In every space that you're in, you have to sort of showcase some level of expertise for people to actually believe that you're, good at that. I think it has become a world of show and tell, especially with the digital marketing and social media. So LinkedIn, for instance, is a space where, that joke where people always keep saying, the minute you log in on LinkedIn, everyone is like, I'm excited to announce that, right? Or it was a privilege to attend this. As much as it's a joke and it's funny and it's very cliche, it actually works. People buy that because then people want to interact and work with people who either have been to places, are interacting with specific connections or networks, which is of course important, but also just based on what they're saying or reporting, quote unquote, you can be able to discern that, okay, so this is somebody who has a level of expertise in this specific field as opposed to another. Blockchain specifically, for instance, is a new technology here in Kenya. We don't have any specific universities until very recently that you could probably go and do a degree, a master's on, blockchain, right? So for me, who got into the space and our company started giving services in the space just last year, we've had to very fast learn. Part of that, of course, again, is you go out, research, do some short pieces around specific issues. It could be regulation, it could be startups in the space, so that you make a brand.
From what you've said, there is the brand, your personal brand, which is Sheila Waswa. There's chasing Mavericks. So for businesses, corporates. So that is also essential. How you brand yourself and how you brand
Definitely.
the company as well.
Definitely. Sometimes I think about the late Bob Collins, right? Was very known. And Safaricom was also very known.
Right.
There are very many examples of Twiga Foods and Pitanjonjo. As a person, Pitanjonjo is very known as the founder, but also there's Twiga Food, which is a company brand.
Right.
Yeah, so even when you're thinking about personal branding itself, there's always the personal brand and the company brand. So sometimes one brand can help the other, depending on which one is stronger, which one is weaker.
Right.
Sometimes the personal brand actually supports more. It will help you more than the company brand if the company brand is not as known. Look at a lot of the celebrities, for instance, as personal brands, they are very known, but they'll start companies and the companies will not be as popular, right? But just because that person is promoting that company, you're like, all right, it's so and so, fine, we'll sign up.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes when the product don't match the personal brand, so
Exactly.
then people are not gonna buy
Exactly.
in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then let's talk about the blockchain. So you are supporting the startups,
Mhm.
and what exactly are the services that you're offering?
Yeah. So last year when we started with an events brand. So of course, part of our offerings at Chasing Marvick is usually either curating and coming up with our own brands
Right.
for events. And the other bit of it is that we could be consulted by other companies to implement events on their behalf, right? So last year we curated something called Kenya Blockchain and Crypto Conference in 2023. And this is from what we usually do, we scout a specific industry, we look at the gaps, and then from an ecosystem builder's perspective, design a concept, bring on board stakeholders to come together. And in our case, in the spirit of sharing knowledge, fostering networking and partnerships, get everyone on board and do a conference. So that's what we did. But I think there was a very obvious gap in the space as far as not only events is concerned, but in terms of generally whether it's connecting people. So one platform where they could come to get connected, where their voices could be amplified. So I think the advantage you got as just fast movers advantage you'd call was we quickly grew a database. So through the database, for instance, we send newsletters, we have social media channels, which also have a good following, and we are able to support startups themselves to amplify their voices. So for instance, if you want to be featured, you can be able to do that through the newsletter and also through the social media channels. If you want any connections, we have most of them.
Right.
Somebody made a joke and say we are the encyclopedia of blockchain in Kenya. So we have most of the contacts. You reach out to us and say, hey, I'd like this sort of support. We know the right person who can be able to do that for you. And by extension, now we've been getting involved in a lot of conversations around regulation, which is one of the missing links as far as blockchain adoption is concerned in Kenya. So and then just by extension, any other events that are happening, market entry for those startups that want to get into the Kenyan market, we are able to support in terms of, again, amplification. If they want to do a launch, we support as far as that is concerned. For startups that are reaching out for mentorship, we are able to support with that too.
So how then do you cost the services and say that if we provide marketing, for example, if we amplify your voice on this platform, on TV, different places, how then do you?
Well, I think just standard-wise, we do it according to the market trends. For instance, if you're doing digital marketing for somebody, there's a specific market trend for that.
Right.
That's a bit general unless you go to, these consultancies that just want to overprice.
Right.
So it will mostly be according to market rates. But Of course, there are cases where at the end of the day, we are only human. If you're a very small startup and you're not able to, we can be able to discount. If you're very big, you look rich. You're wealthy, right?
Right.
Then we can be able to balance that so that tomorrow when the small startup comes, we can be able to support.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so with challenges, with every business,
Yeah.
and especially you just since you just branched out into supporting the startups in tech, the major challenges that you have experienced and how you're tackling or you have tackled.
Blockchain startup itself, if you look at investors, of course, a lot of investors are coming in to support startups in the blockchain space. But in the case of Kenya, for instance, where we have regulation issues, again, it becomes a challenge because to what level do you even support this startup? Knowing very well that it's not, regulation is not ripe yet. So we might have a fully developed product,
Right.
but it cannot be launched because for one reason or the other, it's not that it is illegal, it's just that it is not regulated. Yeah, so I think as far as that space is concerned, those are some of the challenges. As far as just, general entrepreneurship and running of the company itself is concerned, I'd say, the normal challenges that every entrepreneur goes through, we're also prone to the same. Yeah.
And for those who are experiencing the word blockchain for the past time, people who are tuned in, so perhaps maybe explain what the blockchain exactly is.
Well, essentially said is that it's a decentralized ledger.
Right.
If you're looking at some of the advantages, because now blockchain is Web3, it's like when you're looking at the evolution of internet, there is Web2, which is what we all use right now. Then there is Web3, which is now blockchain. So that is the technology powering, say, if you want to do cross-border payments,
Right.
You've added crypto, that's also part of it. Yeah, so I'd say basically that, but I do not want to go into the
That is
technical
exactly what we want
piece.
to
Yeah,
learning about it.
yeah, yeah,
Blockchain,
yeah.
tech.
Mm.
What exactly is that all about?
Yeah.
But now that you've explained it, it's been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much for being here. I enjoyed this conversation.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
And there you have it. If you're a startup in emerging tech, then Sheila Waswa of Chasing Marvick is the girl for you, providing services from public relations, communications, marketing, and so much more. The Groundbreaker podcast series, powered by TechSex Africa. Today we have been having conversations, and let's keep them going across all our social media platforms. I am Nancy Nalima. Thank you for tuning in.